What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Trading Learning 101. I hope you are all having a great day. This episode is going to kick off a mini series that I'm going to do to completely break down the trading platform StreetSmart Edge by Charles Schwab. If you're interested in this series, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That way, whenever I put a new StreetSmart Edge video out in this series, you will get notified and you can continue learning about this great trading platform and charting platform that I use. I do not get paid by Charles Schwab or StreetSmart Edge to promote this trading platform, and I do not trade through the broker Charles Schwab. I only use StreetSmart Edge as my charting platform, and I use StreetSmart Edge because it has everything that I need as a trader. This is a very powerful platform and is very underrated in my opinion. So let's jump into this and kick things off in the StreetSmart Edge tutorial videos. This is part 1 in the StreetSmart Edge tutorial videos, and the topic that we're going to go over in this video is charts. There are going to be multiple videos in this series breaking down every single thing in StreetSmart Edge, as there's just so much stuff to go over in this trading platform by Charles Schwab. I want to go over it with a fine-tooth comb and make every single video based on a topic. That way I can finally go over everything for you guys instead of rushing through videos. And again, I'm helping you guys out. Help me out by just hitting that subscribe button for me, guys, and joining the Trading Learning 101 community where we all grow as traders. And I will greatly appreciate it if you guys did that for me. So kicking things off here in chapter 1 of the StreetSmart Edge tutorial series, charts. This is what really sold the platform. The one thing I really love about StreetSmart Edge is how clean their charts are. I have used many charting platforms out there, from Thinkorswim, TC2000, Gas Trader. StreetSmart Edge charts, in my opinion, are just the cleanest. And that's what really sold it for me with this trading platform. I'm the type of trader, I don't like to clutter my charts with indicators. I really like to rely on candlesticks and volume. But enough of that. Let's break this down. This is the home page right here. When you first open up StreetSmart Edge, it will look different from the first time when you open it up, but this is how you're viewing it right now, how I've customized StreetSmart Edge based on how I want. And that's the great thing with StreetSmart Edge. You can customize candlesticks, your charts, the colors, all that great stuff. So the first thing you're going to want to do is start fresh on a clean slate. If you have multiple monitors and you want to have StreetSmart Edge on multiple monitors, come up to the top right here and you see this tab box right here. Click on that tab and you're going to click New Layout. Once you click New Layout, it'll open up another clean slate for you to start on, and it'll open it up right up here to the top left. You can right click on it and it'll give you a list of options that you can do, from duplicating the same screen, opening a new layout from a template or a file. What we want to do is name this layout. So we're going to click on Rename Layout 1 and we're just going to name this Charts and click Enter. And if you wanted to move this to a different monitor, all you do is click on the tab, drag the tab over to your other monitor, and it'll open up on your other monitor. Now let's get us up a chart. Come up to the top right here to the launch tools, click on the launch tools, and it's going to give you a selection of all these apps that StreetSmart Edge has. The app that we're looking for is Chart. It's going to be under the Research and Analyze section, and it's going to have a picture of a chart. You're going to click on that, and it's going to immediately open you up a chart. Once the chart loads up, you can either double click on the top of this bar right here or click this box to maximize the chart. We want to maximize this chart and set it all up to the way we like. That way we can save the chart, and then that way in the future, if we open up any more charts, instead of going through the process of editing the chart and setting it up the way we want, we can immediately load the chart from a template we've created in the past. So some key things to point off with the StreetSmart Edge chart. To zoom in and out, you can easily do this by spinning the wheel on your mouse. So if you wanted to zoom out, I will zoom back on my mouse. And if I want to zoom in, I will roll the wheel on the mouse forward to zoom in. Easy as that. And you can see when I do this, it's making this box down here smaller or bigger. And that's your time frame. And if you wanted to scroll more to the left of the chart, you would click on this box and you would just slide it over to the left to go back in history and view the chart at the current candlestick size that you have it zoomed in on. Another quick tip I want to point out too is if you have multiple charts and you want the charts linked together, you come to the top right here and you see where it says link here with this diamond shape. We're going to click on that and it'll give you a list of all these shapes in different colors. If you want to link multiple charts together where they're all under the same ticker, so if you're looking at the S&P 500 chart and you have a 1-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, an hourly chart, and a daily chart, and you want them all to be under the same ticker, link all your charts to the same shape and color. So for this video, we'll choose the yellow circle. And then if you don't want your charts linked, either pick a different color to where they're not associated with any other color, or at the very bottom here, you have a unlink and you can click that and the chart will be on its own. Next up here, you see how we have a tab right here that says daily. If you want to have multiple tabs that are all just different time frames, you can create that, or you can set that up with StreetSmart Edge. So right here we have daily and you have a plus sign here. You can add another tab. We'll add another one and it opens up another daily, as you can see. But if you've already created a template, you can right click on this tab and you can go to open chart from template and it'll give you a list of all the chart templates that you've created, and you can easily click to the one that you want and it'll load it right up for you, so you can just keep moving on. And you can see I created my own 5-minute chart template and just loaded it up. There's all kinds of things you can do with StreetSmart Edge. You just got to put the time in to learn about all this stuff. You'll get used to it, trust me. It literally took me a week, 2 weeks of using StreetSmart Edge, and I got used to everything. And hands down, StreetSmart Edge is my favorite charting platform of all time. And again, this is why I'm making multiple videos for you guys to help you guys out in learning this. And I'm able to go over absolutely everything with you guys. So for this video, we'll just exit out of these time frames real quick and go back to our original daily that we have up here. And also down here at the bottom left on this time frame here, this time history, if you wanted to switch to multiple time frames, you could do that with all of this right here. If we wanted to just see the previous 1 month, we'd click on this 1M here, and it's showing us candle by candle every single day from the previous month. If we wanted to go back 3 months, 6 months, year to date, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years, and then you have the max, which it looks like the past 19-20 years on the daily chart. If you want to draw on this chart, all you got to do is right click and it'll bring up this big menu here. Go down to the draw and it has a list of all the drawing tools that are available on StreetSmart Edge. We have a support line, resistance line, horizontal line, vertical line, trend line snap, linear regression, segment line, annotation, Fibonacci arc, Fibonacci retracement, Fibonacci fan, a rectangle, oval, and an arrow. I will make a video on all these drawing tools in the future. There's going to be a lot of videos in this series, guys. So if you're interested and still here, hit that subscribe button. That way when I put out another video, you guys will be notified and see that I put a new video out, and you can learn more tips and tricks with StreetSmart Edge. But let's get into the customization of this chart. You can see here on the right, you have a list of all things that you can do with this chart. But what I do is I click this arrow here to open up all the tools so I can visually see everything and quickly change the chart to the way I like it. So let's go ahead and open this up. So the first selection here is the type of chart that we want. And right now we're currently looking at a daily chart. If we click on this, we can change it to a monthly if we wanted, a weekly. There's our daily. If you want to do a custom day, automatically built in 60-minute, 30-minute, 15-minute, 10-minute, 5-minute, a 1-minute. And if you want to look at a custom minute chart, here's your option right here. So if you're like me and you like to look at 3-minute charts, click on this custom minute and it'll open up a little box right here to the right. Double click on that, hit the backspace and hit 3, enter, and it'll change this chart into a 3-minute chart. If you want to look at a 65-minute chart, same thing, double click, 65, enter, and it changes this chart into a 65-minute chart. Every single candle is 65 minutes. Next up is our chart style. Let's say you're not into candlestick charts, or you like to look at multiple different types of charts. Click this option here, and the options that StreetSmart Edge have are candlestick solid, candlestick hollow, which pretty much takes the color out of the candlesticks. If you like looking at bar charts, if you're into looking at line charts, and just like how you see with these news stations like CNN, CNBC, when they look at charts, they have mountain charts. That's what they're looking at. And then the last one is point and figure. Yes, point and figure is a chart. Not many people know about point and figure charts, but if you're wondering if StreetSmart Edge has point and figure charts, yes they do. Me personally, I like to look at candlestick solid charts. So for the remainder of this video, that's what we'll be looking at. We'll go back to candlestick solid. And then our next option here is overlays. So if you're the type of trader or investor that likes to have overlays on your charts, for an example, if you're looking at the S&P 500 and you want to overlap your chart with a different ETF or stock, with StreetSmart Edge you can do that. We're currently looking at the SPY, the S&P 500. For an example, let's just overlay a stock. And the stock we'll use is Facebook. Type in FB, Facebook's right here, click on it, and then click this add button. And then it'll overlap your chart, the S&P 500, and give you a line chart of Facebook to compare. If you wanted to change the color, you click on this colored box here, and it'll open up a list of all kinds of colors that you can choose from. Let's pick orange, and it changed the color of Facebook to orange. And then to remove this overlay, all you have to do is click on this X right here, and it'll remove it and put your chart back to the way it was. Our next option here is extra periods. And what this is, if you want extra room here on the right side, this is what this extra periods is for. And you could see it's from 0 to 500. So if you're the type of investor or trader that likes to have room at the far right of your chart, come to this extra periods part and simply put in the desired number to give you room to see your chart better on the right side. For me, I'll just input in 20, 20, and when you see I put in that 20, it gave us more room there on the right side. Let's max it out for 500. You can see there, it gives us all this room for future price action. Let's put it at 10, and we'll leave it there. Next up is our draw. Same thing when we right click on the chart and go down to the draw option, gives us a list of all of our drawing tools to draw on the chart. Next category is our studies. Click down on the drop box here and it'll ask you to view all studies or quickly type in the study that you want to add it to your chart. Real quickly, let's view all of our studies. Here's a list of all the studies that StreetSmart Edge has available on the platform. A total of 41 studies on the StreetSmart Edge platform. Not many compared to Thinkorswim that has hundreds, if not thousands, of studies that you can use. But these are more of the basic studies that everybody uses, like volume, your Bollinger Bands, RSI, and your moving averages. For this video, let's just add volume to the chart. Right here, we'll click on that, and you can see it opened up, and it's put volume right here in our selected studies. We want our up volume to be green and our down volume to be red. If you want a simple moving average on your volume, simply click this box here and click on it to select your desired color. Same thing if you want your up volume and your down volume to be, if you want it to be a different color, go ahead and click on it and select the color that you desire. And then here on the right, you can have the volume show in a new box, or if you want it to show up on the price chart. Me personally, I like to have volume in its own little box. So we'll do that. Click OK, and you can see it added the volume down here just below the chart. If you wanted to go back in and mess with your studies, open back up your toolbox here on the right. It'll always be on the right side. Drop down the studies, go down to the volume, and click on the little gear to add the volume. And then real quickly, if we wanted the volume on the price chart, just to show you, we'll select it, click OK, and you can see how it moved the volume out of its own box into the chart. But I like to have it in my own little box, like I said. So moving on. Next up is our colors. Click this little drop down box here to open up all the colors. And this is where you really get to customize the chart and the candlesticks to your liking. Let's say with the first option here, chart background is black. Select this and it'll open up a variety of colors that you get to choose from to change the chart background. If I wanted the chart background to be white, I'll click white and I just blinded everybody. Let's change it to a little bit of a darker color. We'll go a light gray. You can go a darker gray. Heck, if you wanted your chart to be blue, you can go ahead and choose blue if you wanted. If you were looking at bar charts, you could select the color of your bar charts with those colors. If you're looking at candlesticks, you have your candlesticks here. And if you were looking at a line chart, this is where you change your line chart color right here. All under the colors tab. There we go. That blue looks a lot better than that bright blue. Next, we got our candle wick. What color do we want our candle wick to be? Let's just choose white. And then they have more colors if you were looking at a different type of chart. They have the colors of the price lines and the timeline, the axis text, and the axis line. So our price line, let's change the color to black, or let's go a gray. And the timelines, we'll change it to a gray. The axis text will change to, let's say purple, or we'll change it to a bright yellow. We'll leave it like that, but you could just see how I changed the color of the price. And then our axis line, let's change that to a blue, and that changed this bottom line down here. And then if you were looking at an intraday chart with the pre-market, here is where you would change the color of the pre-market compared to the actual trading day after hours. And then if you were trading with Charles Schwab StreetSmart Edge, this is where the colors would come in when you place trade orders. It'll plot on the chart where you bought and you sold, and you can pick the color for green when you buy, red when you sell, for when it will plot it on the chart. And then once you have the chart set up to the way you like, and you want to save this specific chart color with all the colors that you've selected, down here at the bottom, save color set. Click it, name it what you want. For this video, we'll name this charts setup, and we'll click save. That way, when we open up more charts in the future, we don't have to go back through and change all the colors of how we like to have it set up. That's all very time consuming. So just simply save the color sets or the different variety of color sets that you want. That way when you load up a chart, all you got to do is come right up here to your load color set. There's our chart setups right there. We can load that up. We have a naked chart that I've created. My chart personally, Dave. Let's click on that and click load. And it quickly changed it to the color set that I personally like. Let's go back to the one that we just created. Chart setup. Load. Loads it right up for us. So now that we've got all the colors done, let's close that on up. And the last one we got here is settings. Let's drop this down. Starting right off the bat, market hours. Do you want pre-market and aftermarket? If you do, check these two boxes right here. And you can see how it just opened up those colored areas from the chart for us. And then if we go back into the colors, the pre-market and post-market shading, we can mess around with the colors with this that we want to shade in to show us on the chart which part of the shaded chart is live market hours and which part is after hours trading. And then don't forget, make sure you save it after you're done. And another thing real quick, if you want to apply all the same colors to all your charts, click this apply colors to all charts down here at the very bottom of your color selection. Alright, back to the settings. For our price scale, we have our values and our location. I just keep the values linear and the location right. If you want to flip those up, go ahead. If you want to adjust scale to display studies, so if you're the type of trader that has multiple studies plotted out on your chart, check this box and it'll scale the chart to also display all your studies. And then the next checkbox we have here is use price scale with your overlay. So going back to remember when I plotted out Facebook with the line chart on top of the SPY, you would check this box to use the same price scale with the overlay. If you're into looking at percentages, check this show percent scale, and here on the left side of the chart, it'll plot out the percentages for you guys. And when you zoom out, it'll adjust the percentages along with the price still on the right side. I normally keep the percentages off, so I'm going to keep it off. Next, we have intraday quick jumps. I always keep it highlighted on show entire current day. You can choose show through current time if you want, but I'll leave it on show entire current day. And then we have the up and down color coding. I leave it on change from the open. They also have that other option, change from the previous close. Next, we have the line widths, our graph. Clicking on this will give you a drop down box of different thicknesses for your candlestick wicks. I have it on the thinnest selection, but if you wanted it thicker, we'll go to the second one. Here's the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. You can see how real thick the wick is and the candles are. And we'll go right back to the thinnest one just to show you the difference. Back to the thickest. Again, mess with this if you like messing around with the thickness of the candles and the wicks. That's where you'll find this option. I keep it on the thinnest. Next, out of all these options, these are going to be what's displayed on the chart. So our element display options: show timelines, show price lines, show chart keys, show last trade label, show symbol watermark, which is this at the top left right here, SPY. So if you were looking at a different stock like Apple or Facebook, show symbol watermark is it's going to show you the ticker you're looking at and the company name. And you could see just by checking the box, it will either have it on the chart or not have it on the chart. And then show range watermark and display crosshair on hover. For my charts personally, I have show timelines off, show price lines off, show chart keys off, which is that right here. Last trade label, I'll keep this on, and that's with this right here, this box. That's the current price that the stock is at. I'll keep that on. I'll keep show symbol watermark on. I will remove the range watermark, and I will check the display crosshair on hover. That way when I go over the chart, it'll give me this hover whenever I go on the chart. It just makes it easier for me when I'm looking at specific price areas compared to when you don't have it on. This is what you get, nothing. So me personally, I like to have the crosshair on. The next option here is your Streamline View. I personally like to have the Streamline View on. It gives me more room on my charts and gets rid of a lot of stuff. If we go back to Custom View, you see how we have this history bar down here and we have our tabs right here. So if you had multiple tabs open all right here and we switch it over to the Streamline View, you could see it removes those two, but they're still on your charts. You can see down here at the bottom, I still have a history bar to where I can go back and forth from left to right on the charts. It just makes it really small, and I can zoom in and out, and it'll make that bar smaller or bigger based on how I zoomed in on the chart. And then our tabs up here, they will be on the top right. You see how it says tabs? Click on that and it'll have a list of all your open chart tabs that you have, so you could quickly jump to a different tab if you want. That's all it's pretty much removing away from the chart is your history control and the tabs. They're pretty much making it smaller to give you more chart room is what it's doing. And it's removing the level 1 data, which is all this right here. Me personally, I like to have it on Streamline View, and you can quickly change in and out of it real fast. You don't have to keep coming back into this toolbox here and going into switching back and forth with this. You can also do it from the top right up here next to where you can maximize the chart, exit out of the chart. You see this little square with the arrow pointing inside of it? That's how you switch back and forth from custom view to streamline view, just by the click of that button right there. And you can see how it's doing that real quick. So there's 2 ways you can do that real quick. And then the last of our settings down here, if you have notes or orders or positions, if you want those displayed on your charts, keep these selected. I don't trade with StreetSmart Edge, so I don't need positions or orders on there. But sometimes I will create a note on a specific stock. If I right click on this and come down to this add note, it'll open up a little box. I could take a picture of the chart if I want, take a picture of it just like that. I can give the chart a title. I'll just say my lines. I can change how I want the text to look, the size of the text, and the color of the font. And we'll just type in some gibberish here. Make it bold if you wanted, and then click save. And it'll put a little notepad right on your chart, right here. Come down to it. It's got the description that I named it, my lines, and you can go to read, and it'll pop up a window here of the quick little note that I left. And then it also saved a picture of the chart I was looking at as well. Double click the image if you want to zoom in on the chart, and then to exit out, just click this X. And that's if you're into leaving little notes for yourself on charts and how you can access notes on charts. And then the last section here in the settings is corporate events. Whenever a stock puts out dividends, earnings, or splits, it'll plot that on the chart to tell you the date when these companies did dividends, they released earnings, or did reverse splits or stock splits. I keep these boxes checked because I always want to know when stocks do any of these corporate events. And I'll leave these boxes checked on my intraday charts and my daily charts. And that's everything inside of this little toolbox here that we went over. Now, once you have the chart set up to the way you want, right click on the chart and then come down to this area right here. There's 2 ways you can save how you have the chart set up the way you like it. You can save it either as a template or you can save it as a file to where it's physically on your computer. Me personally, I like to save them as both. So I'll save it as a template and I'll save it as a file just for a backup. So let's save it as a template, and then I'll let you name the template. The time frame that we had selected is a 65-minute chart time frame. So I'll name this template 65 MIN for 65 minute, and I'll click save. And then if you already have a same template under the same name, if you want to overwrite it, click yes. If not, click no and then rename it. I'll just say 65 minute too. and then I'll click save. And then that way in the future, if you want to open up a different chart, come up again to your launch tools, click on chart. It'll open a chart here. Right click on this chart, and then you'll come down to open chart from template, and then go under the one that we just created, 65-minute 2. Select that, and it'll immediately open this chart up to the previous ones that we've created or the charts that we like. And then if you easily want to change it to a different time frame, let's open this up. Open back up your toolbox here. Come up to the type where we have our custom minute. And if we want to make this a 1 minute chart, hit 1, enter, and it just turned this into a 1 minute chart. And then real quick, I'm glad I didn't forget this. If you want to zoom in on one specific area on a chart, right click, come all the way down to the zoom, click this zoom, and you'll have a little magnifying glass on your chart. And any specific area that you want to zoom in on, just like Thinkorswim, click, drag over to the area of where you want to look at specifically, and highlight it, release, and it'll zoom right in on the area that you want to look at. I do wish with StreetSmart Edge that you didn't have to go and right click, go all the way into the zoom, and then highlight. I wish it was set up like Thinkorswim, where all you had to do is just simply click and drag and it'll zoom in automatically, but that's not the case with StreetSmart Edge. They do have a little shortcut on the chart to where you can zoom in and out more. Up here at the top right, you see you have 2 magnifying glasses. If you click the plus zoom chart, that's another way you can click and drag to zoom in on a specific area. Or if you're zoomed in real close and you want to zoom out a little bit more, you could do that either with your mouse or just by clicking this minus zoom out magnifying glass to zoom out more. Or if you have the history bar open, you can simply drag across the history of it to zoom in and out. Or if you want to look at a specific date, they have it set up right here, and it'll jump you right over to the days that you selected. And that's going to wrap it up for the Chapter 1 charts tutorial for StreetSmart Edge. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have many more videos coming in the future based around StreetSmart Edge. I'm going to make this into a tutorial series. If you guys have any comments or questions, be sure to drop a comment down below and I will get to it as soon as possible. And until next time, everybody, have that patience, have that discipline, and study, study, study. Later, everybody.
The most valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree?